Sounds good.
What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. Power lines are just kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg. Today I'm joined with Mason Moreland, and I'm going to say a few things about him first. The one thing that I like about him being here in particular is that he's in the vineyard or related industry. And so one thing that I talk about a little bit here in these chance encounters is the 506B status. And it doesn't matter if you're in real estate or not, it still is a factor. There's still the same rules that need to go through. But Mason, can you'll do a much better job of introducing yourself than that. So please go ahead and share with the audience, who is Mason Moreland?
Thanks for having me, Dan. Always a pleasure to hang out with you. So my background is in environmental consulting. I've been doing environmental consulting for about the same amount of time I've been investing in traditional real estate assets. So, mostly single family homes, townhomes, since 2012 or 13. And got to about 17 investing in single family homes and realized, hey, this is not scalable. This isn't something I can do forever. Like, it just doesn't scale up. And we started trying to get into multifamily and looking at syndication and things like that. And first deal we tried to bite off by ourselves, me and my brother and dad, didn't work out so great. Ended up getting into agriculture and looking into that, and have ended up carving out a niche for myself in the vineyard industry, where we syndicate, so raise capital for, develop, and operate wine grape vineyards, large mechanized vineyards at scale out here in Western Texas.
And that's the nice thing is me, my background is in tech and e-commerce technology, mass marketing, and all that kind of stuff. And people who are ambitious and want an online business, they're like, oh yeah, that's really hot. But pretty much everybody's into wine, right? It opens a lot of doors, right?
It seems to thin out when you hit, some of the Mormon communities and stuff. But most people are into wine. It seems to be pretty universal. Right. So there you go. All right. So the first segment that we do in Chance Encounters is discussing the motivations. So here's the little motivation slideshow. You can see down at the bottom, I've got the 6 different roles, but the problem with interviewing investors of that they might be beginners is they might not even know the role that they're actually going to take, what their core competencies are. But they always know why they're there. And so that's why I start off with motivation. So I've got them down to 5. The first one is people, like perhaps if they have a family office, their main concern is to preserve their purchasing power from inflation. So that's why they're looking more specifically at like IRR, for example. It's because they don't actually need the cash out, that they do need to make sure that their wealth endures inflation. The next one is my one, which is that I'm trading time for wealth. As a tech guy, that makes me a high earner, but that also means I'm a high taxpayer because it's coming in as salary or income. So if I work instead directly in commercial real estate, then I'm getting rewarded for my time in the form of wealth. So that's what I'm up to. The next one is for most people, which is fast tracking retirement. And the reason that makes that kind of special, it's in contrast to the next one, which is the pure ambitious one. Like they want to buy their entire hometown. The fast tracking retirement people, they've got an end in sight where they want to say, it's like, no, I don't want to do anything except for exactly what I want to do at that moment. Okay, and that's where retirement is. But if you want to buy your hometown, then you're not going to stop there. You're not going to become an accredited investor and just be like, you know what, I'm good. So that brings me to the last of the 5 motivations, which is having some sector of society that they really want to do something special for. And one of the best ways to achieve that end is to accrue a whole whack of wealth and then put it towards uses such as those. So out of those 5 motivations, which best describe yours, Mason?
So like you mentioned, I'm a little bit weird in that I sort of cover a couple different asset classes, right? So I sort of fall into 2 different categories for each, for traditional commercial real estate and for the vineyard side. So for traditional commercial real estate, I'm definitely more of the trade time for wealth, right? So I'm using the time I'm spending in my W-2 job as an environmental consultant and my vineyard side to transfer that into wealth through commercial real estate, right? So you're more thinking the LP kind of category, because my time is better spent in other places. Where on the vineyard side, I'm admittedly probably compensating for something, as you like to say. I want to take over the world. My goal is to make Texas not the 5th largest wine producing state in the U.S. I want us to be 1st or 2nd. I want to kick Oregon and Washington off the list and go toe to toe with California. So I will probably never get enough.
Excellent. That's great. So the next segment that's about the different roles that are on there, and I got a green screen effect, so it makes the die look kind of magical.
It's like actually, something from like the Avengers or.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's exactly it. But one thing that's coming to my mind is your environmental background as a repositioner. That puts you in a pretty good spot. I've seen it before in the single family space where the guy was an environmental engineer, and basically, most investors, they'd say it's like, okay, it has this environmental problem, but they'd be like, okay, I have no idea how much it costs to fix it. I have no idea who to go to actually make sure that when it's done, like the insurance companies will accept it or blah, 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 and they'll say pass. And so since he's the guy, he just had to get access to, financing really. And then so he can buy the properties for $1 or something. And then he's putting in the actual, the cash to turn this around. So is that something that's feasible in multifamily, for you with what you do, or is it a little more specific to a different type of environmental, stuff?
It definitely is. My background on the commercial real estate and traditional residential real estate side is doing a lot of physical rehab and stuff like that, in addition to the environmental side. So, typically I'm going to know exactly, or at least ballpark, of what something's going to cost, be able to ID those issues, asbestos, lead, potential permitting issues, things like that. That's what I do full time. So definitely does fall into that a lot in that category, but it all comes down to being able to recognize the deals more quickly or more readily, that other people aren't recognizing. And that's usually where I fall in.
Right, that makes sense. So I'll blast through these different sides of the die then, which I'll use this one because it's usually easier to read. So I'm a repositioner. Part of being a repositioner means that you are doing underwriting, but you're looking at a bunch of different deals to figure out which ones have upside. And of course, the easiest ways to get upside is to either run it more efficiently through your operations, or if that doesn't work, which is often the case, especially now with, where things are. But the more reliable way usually is to get some contractors and make the place nicer. So that way you can attract better rents. So that way you're getting a property and you're turning it around for more money. But if you're from the internet like I am, you got a problem, which is that you're going to need a local. You're going to need somebody who can check in and make sure that the contractor's actually not, sloughing the photographs that are being sent as far as like what's being done, any of those kinds of corners. And as well as operations, the local person can, drive by in an hour to see what's going on. So those are more the day-to-day roles. But as a repositioner, you're going to have to go to a financier, in other words, a bank, and say, hey, give me a whole whack of cash so I can buy this building. But they're going to say, who's your sponsor?
And that is the person in the fold who already owns a similar asset. So if it's 150 units, then somebody has to already own 150 units, and then you have to have the net worth of at least the amount of loan. So that's the 6 different sides of my magical psychedelic die I have here. And so in this part, I say, what are your core competencies that you would be bringing to your next commercial deal?
Yeah, so on the commercial deals, I definitely still think I line up better with either the repositioner or the financier, right? You know, because I'm still trading time for wealth. So I probably fall better into the financier category in commercial. On the vineyard stuff, because they line up really, really well with a lot of the same concepts of the commercial real estate side, especially development of commercial real estate. Definitely the repositioner, and sort of secondarily sponsor KP, right? You don't have a whole lot of people out there that own a bunch of vineyard and are able to put all the right people and talent in the right places for that kind of deal.
You got to get them on the plane, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to go find the local, and you got to find the contractor that does, will ship you 50 truckloads of T-posts. That's a lot of steel. So yeah, definitely repositioner is my core competency as well.
Okay, awesome. And so then the next thing I usually do is once I've got a feel for the level of sophistication, so this is to anybody who might be, on a chance encounter in the future, I'm basically giving you the cheat sheet for this. So, Mason, you don't hit me as being afraid of me asking what your buy box is. And that specifically means like what sort of unit count, asset type, geographic area, are you most comfortable with as far as your next commercial deal?
So for commercial deals, my buy box is definitely in, I really like the tertiary markets. So growing with high growth potential. So I love like Lubbock, Texas, some of the other small tertiary markets in the state of Texas, Waco, Tyler, things like that. Within the South, usually the Sun Belt. That's my favorite sort of area to be looking in. With high growth potential. On the vineyard side, it's the 5 or 6 county area between Lubbock and Midland, half section or more, lots of water on it, and I'm going to be trying to develop it into a vineyard.
All right, yeah, good stuff. It's good to have a plan. The next part, the next segment is to say, out of the different types of people who might be in the audience, real estate investors or otherwise, and without breaking any SEC rules, which means you can't entice investors, but can you describe the perfect person, the person you could help the most in real estate right now, commercial real estate right now? Like, and you get bonus points for alluding to one of these roles.
Probably the on the commercial side, I really enjoy connecting people. So I feel like it still sort of falls within the repositioner, like with other repositioners. Because I like to see, okay, this person's interested in this over here. Hey, what you're trying to find aligns with what this person has over here, making that connection. I think, I'm able to provide the most value to folks that are interested in unique asset classes, just because I've underwritten so many of them, and ended up landing on a unique asset class is sort of my specialty. So, folks that are interested in non-traditional real estate or businesses and syndicating them, that's the kind of people that I like to talk to as well.
Awesome. And we met through some meetups, but you are somewhat active on LinkedIn, and that's how I found the meetups. But is that the best way to reach out to you, or is it through a website? Or
yeah, for sure. LinkedIn, I'm very active on there. You can also find our business at www.texasvinecountry, vine with a V, .com, and that's sort of our vineyard side of things.
Awesome. So one more thing for you in the audience, that's you. If you look at your screen on YouTube and it's under this hand here, you'll see a great big subscribe button that's probably red, and red is bad. So you need to click it, or else you're a communist. I think. But really, the reason why you need to hit subscribe is because that way YouTube pays for these videos instead of me. And that's amazing. That's capitalism as far as I've ever heard of it. But please do that. All it means is that my videos might show up on your list of suggestions. It's not like I can spam the crap out of you, even if I wanted to. But thanks again, Mason, for coming for this chance encounter. Awesome seeing you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Turn that subscribe button from red like his beard to gray like his beard will be.
That's right. Exactly. Well, gray like my armpit hair.
So I really appreciate the format. Like I've told you a couple times before, I think it's really great because me personally, I'm very long-winded. I have to purposefully make things more concise, but the way I take things in is I definitely prefer things to be concise and straight to the point and concentrated. And the chance encounters really do that great for individuals. So you can get a good grasp on who they are, what do they do, why do they do it, what space do they operate in. That's why I love chance encounters.